Hey guys, this is Hybrid, and today we are we're reacting to the other half of the 22 horror stories. So, let's go on to story 13. I lost track.
One evening, I was looking for an internet cafe because I needed to send a few emails.
Okay.
I spotted one in an old building. The sign said it was on the 6th floor. When I walked through the entrance,
Is this one of
there was
those
a dark
Japanese
hallway
ones?
that led to a small elevator. I pressed the call button, and when the doors opened, I stepped inside. In a lot of Asian countries, many buildings do not have a 4th floor. The number 4 is considered bad luck because the
Makes
word 4
sense.
sounds almost the same as the word for death. When it stopped and the doors opened, I was about to step out when I realized that something was wrong. The hallway was in total darkness. By the light emanting from the elevator, I could make out a random piece of furniture covered with white cloth. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years. I thought I might have gotten off on the wrong floor, so I checked the buttons, but none of them were lit up.
Wait, what?
There was nothing to indicate which floor I was on. Just then, I noticed something moving.
Oh god, what is it with the
hallway.
girl from the range suddenly showing
I
up?
couldn't quite make out what it was, but it looked like a person dressed in some type of gown. The figure was moving slowly down the hallway towards the elevator.
Press the button, press button.
It creeped me out, and in a panic, I started pressing the closed door button. All of a sudden, the light
Oh hell no.
turned off. I was plunged into the pitch darkness. I was so freaked out I almost wet myself. Just as
That's understandable. I'm pretty sure any logical person would almost do that.
The doors closed. The elevator jolted back to life and began to ascend again. I breathed a sigh of relief. When the doors opened this time, I was at the internet cafe. I went over to the counter and told the girl who worked there and what had happened. As she listened, her face grew pale. She said that some of the customers and a few of her co-workers had experienced the same thing. She had
a lot of people experience it, okay.
herself, but she told me about the history of the building. Apparently, the 4th floor had been a hair salon at one time. It was prospering and doing pretty good until one of the women who worked there killed herself in the salon. Nobody knew the reason why. The salon continued to operate, but they were plagued by weird and inexplainable events. Sometimes when customers were having their hair washed, the water would turn as red as blood. Other people claimed that when they looked in the mirror,
so the girl pretty much cursed the place.
Figure standing behind them. When they turned around, there would be no one there. Because of these events, the salon developed a bad reputation and began to lose customers.
I can see that happening.
Eventually, they were forced to close down. The building's owner tried to rent the 4th floor out to other businesses, but when they found out what had happened, nobody would take it.
Yeah, I guess
Finally, the owner reduced the price to nearly nothing, and it was rented by a businessman who planned to open a stationary supply store. However, when they tried to do some renovations on the floor, there was a series of mysterious accidents. The workmen's tools would sometimes disappear, only to be found in strange places. A large mirror suddenly shattered when nobody was near it, and the workman had his hand crushed when the elevator closed unexpectedly. Eventually, the workmen were so spooked.
I can understand why.
The building's owner gave up trying to rent the 4th floor out and just shut it down. He had the buttons in the elevator replaced, and it was reprogrammed that nobody could go on the 4th floor. At least that's what's supposed to happen. For some reason, when people took the elevator, it would sometimes stop on the 4th floor, and when the doors opened, some people would see a figure coming toward them in the darkness.
Oh hell no.
What that was.
Well, good job. I'm not getting anywhere near there.
Do you ever feel like you're being watched?
And of course.
The browser you're using is allowing
Yada. Okay, got it. Okay, an old lady in a dream, okay. I mean, all people have had weird dreams.
When I was a little girl, I had the same dream several times. In these dreams, I used to see an old lady who kept running after me. She was wearing Korean traditional clothes, called a hanbok, and put her white hair up. Whenever it happened, she was kind of far away from me, so I tried to run away from her at full speed. But then, when I turned my head around, in less than 3 seconds, she had already reached me and was right
Yeah, that's the
behind
problem
me
with dreams.
with
They
an angry
can.
look on her face
Anyone
and
chasing you
stretching out
has
her
the.
hand. So I always woke up crying when I
Anyone
felt like
chasing
I
your
was going
dreams
to
has
get
the
caught
power
by
to move
her.
faster.
That horrible situation repeated over and over again whenever I had a dream. However, the interesting thing was that I never got caught by her in my dream. Because I was so young at the time, it was really scary to see that old lady in my dream. So I tried to not fall asleep. But
It
eventually,
doesn't
I couldn't
work.
win and sleep took over my body. And the same thing happened again. In one dream, I was playing at the playground with my older brother. We were playing with some
And then
dirt,
the old lady
and I
comes
could
in.
see the old lady watching us as usual. To
Wait,
be
does
more
she actually
specific,
catch you this
she
time?
was staring at me. "Run! Hurry!" As soon as I told him that, she ran towards us. But this time, she looked even more angry than usual. I was in a hurry, so I yelled at my brother to go up on the slide, and we both ran towards it. I was going to go up the slide, but suddenly, I stumbled and fell down. As she was approaching, I was about to scream, but to my surprise, she just passed me. And then she angrily grabbed my brother's leg with one hand and pulled him downwards. Being terrified, I cried and yelled at her to let go of him. And then, I suddenly woke up. When I woke up, I realized that my whole body was drenched in cold sweat. A few days later, an unforgettable and unbelievable incident happened to me.
Wait, what?
My brother was in a car accident. Not to mention his teeth, cheekbones, ribs, right leg and shoulders were all smashed. It was just...
Wait, what leg was the the old lady grabbing? Because we saw her grab his leg, so maybe that leg she grabbed was the only thing surprisingly working and not damaged. So maybe the dream just protected that one leg.
Horrible. But since the accident, I couldn't stop thinking of the old lady who I'd met in my dream. Well, it's been a long time now, but I still remember her face so vividly. Since my brother's accident, the old lady was no longer in my dreams. However, to this day, I'm still really
it's because
curious.
the old lady took her victim.
Why did the old lady appear in my dream, and what did she want to say to me?
I'm someone who goes on the deep and dark web constantly. It's not what people think. Where it's evil and overpopulated with crazy people.
The dark web
That's
video?
only a small percentage of the dark web. Years ago, my girlfriend broke up with me, and I put her personal information on a forum. And soon after that, she disappeared. It's been a while since that happened, and I've ran into people that have disrespected me since. I'm not an intimidating guy, nor do I look intimidating. Nor do I ever have physical or verbal conflicts. I always think to myself that these people don't know what could happen to them. I work at a fast food restaurant, and at the time of this story, my manager was really on my case about everything.
I feel like I might have
I
heard
would be
this one
late,
before.
mess up orders, have an attitude with customers, and some other stuff I could name, but it's so much. I understood that I was messing up, but the tone that this guy would talk to me embarrassed me in front of my coworkers, and sometimes in front of customers. One day, though, that was the last straw. So one day I walked into work, 5 minutes before I was due to clock in, and my manager out loud said that the window liquor is finally on time, in front of customers and my coworkers. Everyone laughed at me. During my whole
Yeah, I
shift
probably
that
heard
night,
this one before.
he would direct
Just
smart
waiting
comments
to see
toward
if
me,
the pork
while
chop
still yelling at me for everything
site
that I
of
did
his.
wrong. I made up my mind. I was going to find that forum and give his information. On my walk home, I was going back and forth with myself about whether to do it or not. By the time I made it home, I made up my mind. I didn't shower nor did I change clothes. I went straight to my laptop and I searched. I possibly clicked maybe 100 links because on the dark web there are links that will take you down any rabbit hole. A link named Pork Chop piqued my interest that said, "Here's the screen." And I didn't fall. But
Heard this one,
these
unfortunately.
guys. It took disgusting time to next hold any of my beats.
Okay.
Clip Studio Paint.
Uh,
Creativity is one of the
fortunately,
greatest
I
joys of
want to
life.
do something like this, but I can't. Due to
This happened
You're not
over
using this all
25
the
years
time.
ago, but the memories are still fresh on my mind. I moved in with my boyfriend, who was a musician,
Oh,
and I wasn't
okay.
working at the time. Our budget was small, so when we were offered super cheap rent for a house, we jumped at the opportunity.
Guess anyone would,
It should
wouldn't
have
they?
been a red flag at the time, but we were in no position to refuse. It was far from the city center. We had almost no furniture and lived quite the frugal life. But we were happy to have our own space. The house was simple but cozy and nice. And there was another room in the backyard with no windows,
Huh.
but only a chair right in the middle of it. Needless to say, it was super creepy, so I avoided that part of the house.
Guess it makes sense.
While my boyfriend was working all day in a music
Wait, is
school,
the
I
is the
took care
room
of the
possessed or
house.
something?
In the beginning, everything was fine. I felt happy there. But after a few weeks, weird things started happening. One day,
Like
I
what?
put some of the cans and ingredients on the kitchen table while I was cooking. However, when I turned around to grab them, they weren't there.
Oh.
At first, I just thought that I had forgotten to pick them up from the shelves. But when cans and knives started showing up in random places in the house, like the bedroom, I started paying more attention.
Well, you should
My
have done that from the
boyfriend
beginning.
also experienced the same things. And whenever he found the missing items, he just laughed about it.
No one should laugh
However,
about that.
things started to change and took a turn for the worse when we decided to clean the backyard. We cut the grass, threw away the trash, and decided to move the chair in the middle of the room. So my boyfriend picked it up and left it in front of the house to be collected. He told me
Wait,
that he
don't tell
felt
me the
sick
chair's
the moment
kinda-
he entered that room. I thought he was overreacting, but when I entered it, I immediately felt a heavy weight on my chest
Oh.
and a piercing headache. However, everything would be fine again once we left that area. It was scary, so we
So
went to
the
a
room's
local
possessed?
church, got some holy water and salt from the priest, and cleaned the room. We thought that everything would be okay now. My boyfriend had to leave for work, and I continued cleaning inside the house. But I didn't feel calm and perky as I usually did, because I constantly had the feeling that someone was watching me. I even checked the doors and windows to see if there was anyone
Okay.
around, but no one was there. And I still felt uncomfortable and was paranoid all day. When my boyfriend returned home in the evening, we started hearing noises coming from
Yeah.
outside.
Okay, it's possessed.
This area was kind of dangerous, especially at night, so my boyfriend was super careful when going outside. He thought that it could be a robbery. Everything was alright, except for the fact
Yep.
that the chair was back inside the
Okay,
room.
it's possessed. Okay.
It was in
Burn
the
it.
same place as before.
Burn
So
the demon
he got really
out.
mad when he saw it, thinking that some punk was playing a trick on us. He went outside and decided to grab the chair, break it, and throw it away. But I could see the panic on his face when he couldn't move the chair.
Oh.
For whatever reason, it was completely
spirits are
fixed
keeping
to
it
the
down.
ground. Not like it was glued
Burn
to
the
the floor,
chair.
but more like it weighed 10
Wait, would they even
tons.
do anything?
No matter how hard he tried, it wouldn't move. Because he had to come up with another plan, he ran inside, grabbed holy water and salt,
Yeah,
made
probably
a
best.
circle around the chair, and started praying. Suddenly, we heard a loud bang. Thousands, maybe millions of cockroaches started coming out of every sewer hole
Oh.
outside of the house. I am terribly terrified of cockroaches, so I guess this was my worst nightmare.
Oh
We left
no.
the chair and we rushed inside the house. And after we checked everywhere in the house, we locked all the doors and windows, and then ran away to my mom's house. As the incident happened on a Friday evening, we decided to stay at her house until Sunday to calm
Oh,
down.
so just
On
giving
Sunday
yourself time to
afternoon,
rest. Okay, that
we
seems
returned
simple.
home and everything felt normal. There were no traces of insects
Wait,
around,
is
and the chair
something
was still
odd?
in its place, but the house seemed quiet. We started relaxing a bit, and as I had just refilled the fridge on Friday with groceries, I
Okay.
decided to start cooking something nice for dinner. However, when I opened the fridge, I saw an image I will never forget.
Wait, what
All
was...
the food was full of maggots,
oh god.
and it was almost completely decomposed.
Wait, but that doesn't make any
The
sense.
smell was horrible inside. I have never seen anything like it before. I mean, the fridge was still on and seemed to be working,
Yeah.
but the food was not frozen. And this level of decomposition
Couldn't have
could
been
not
done
be
in the
reached
time.
in less than 48 hours. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
So maybe
I screamed and
the
showed
house,
it to my
the
boyfriend,
haunted part
who
of the house
also
just
couldn't understand
somehow
what
affected it?
happened. But there was nothing we could do with the food or the fridge. Later, we finally decided to give the house back,
Yeah.
and we moved out to another city. And fortunately, I've never experienced
Okay, good.
anything like that again. But that incident still gives me the chills.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would get the chills as well. Good job, there's no haunted houses here.
This
Or is
happened
there?
to me recently.
Shit.
I was on my way home from the bank
Okay.
when someone suddenly called. When I looked back, I could see a man in his late 40s on the road. And he had pretty long, shaggy hair that almost
Okay.
reached his
A
shoulders.
hobo, probably?
Besides that, there were so many small scars on his face, which made me feel really uncomfortable. I asked him if he needed any help, and he asked me for some food because he had a 5-year-old girl who was starving. However, it was somehow odd. The way he spoke didn't sound pitiful to me at all. And he was saying it quickly, as if he had memorized the lines. I stared blankly at him for a minute, and then felt anxious. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
have to
walk
go.
away.
I left abruptly. Hey, hey! He kept calling from behind me, and then started yelling at
Yeah,
me
just
because I
run.
didn't turn my head around. I was so scared that I eventually passed my house and ran straight into another alleyway.
Why?
Because it was especially hot that day, my town was pretty quiet, and that only made things scarier. Now that I think about it, this situation was really creepy. I don't even
How
know where he
so?
came from. I didn't hear any footsteps, but when I looked back, the man walked right in front of me, asking for food again.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One of my friends got married not too long ago. She was living with her
Okay.
husband and mother-in-law, who was the type to nag a lot to her. For your information, my friend used to be a little chubby, and because of it, her mother-in-law scolded her frequently and prevented her from eating food.
That's stupid.
It was ridiculous.
Just
When I
limit the
heard
food
that, I met her
cheese.
at a cafe,
Jesus.
and I could see that she didn't look well. So I asked her what happened, and then she said something really creepy.
Wait, what?
My friend couldn't hold back her hunger
Yeah,
after
I
midnight,
mean,
so she
you
snuck
would
into
expect
the
someone
kitchen
to do that.
quietly. When she heard her mother-in-law snoring in her sleep, she started eating some of the food in the
Yeah.
refrigerator.
Anyone's allowed to do
Suddenly,
that
she
if they're
felt
hungry.
something was wrong. She felt like someone was watching her, so she turned around and her mother-in-law was staring at my friend.
Shit.
Her eyes were raised while she made a snoring sound with her mouth on
Oh,
purpose.
hell no. Well, you're going to hell.
A few days ago, my dad lost his shoes at
Yeah.
a restaurant.
Okay.
When he checked the CCTV, he saw that an old man went outside wearing his shoes. At first, my dad decided to just think that he made a donation. But the next day, a package arrived at his company office.
Oh, okay.
As he opened the box, he saw a new pair of the exact same shoes that he had lost the day before.
That's odd.
And the sender was unknown.
Oh, great.
Let's think about it. My dad lost his shoes just yesterday, but when he checked the delivery date, it was dated a few days ago. Dad was just satisfied with the new pair of shoes.
Time travel. Yeah, probably not. It's probably just time traveled, to be honest. I mean, the delivery's back a couple days. You got a fresh pair. And yeah, that pretty much just makes me think time travel.
That he received, but my mom and I are still feeling uncomfortable and weird about it.
Just accept it, it's new shoes.
Who would send shoes to you for free and for no purpose at all? What a weird situation.
Okay, the cell phone.
This happened a few days ago. I found a cell phone in the corner of my bed while cleaning my room.
Okay.
Of course, it was not mine, and it didn't belong to any of my friends either. So I turned on the cell phone to check what was in it, and I was left speechless.
To be honest, I would just check the phone, format it, and sell it. Makes sense.
Well, I've never seen that cell phone while living in this house for several years. I found it just today. But when I checked the phone's recent call history, one was made just yesterday.
Oh.
If someone knows the answer to this, please let me know. What should I do with this cell phone now?
Just sell it. Just format it, sell it. You get a bunch of money.
It seems like growing a terrarium is in fashion now. But I threw out my terrarium a few days ago.
Wonder why.
One day, I bought a terrarium at a store while heading home. I put it next to my bed and fell asleep. The next morning, I saw a girl lying next to me on my bed.
No.
And the scariest part was that her neck was halfway turned. But as soon as I jumped up screaming, she was already gone. At first, I thought it was just a nightmare or some kind of sleep paralysis. A few days later, I had a dream this time, and I was inside of the terrarium.
Okay.
I was on something like a big hill, and dolls made of bones were digging through the soil of the garden. As soon as I stepped closer, I could see the bones on the ground. Then I woke up from my dream in fright. Because I felt uncomfortable thinking about the woman I saw a few days ago. I went into the bathroom with a terrarium. I started taking all the plants and moss out of the glass. You know, moss is usually very easy to peel off. However, this one didn't come off easily.
Okay.
It was as if the roots of the plant grew so deep that it felt like they were stuck to the soil. I was about to turn on the water and wash the roots, and at that moment, little white pieces rattled and were drained down the sink. What was that? Suddenly, I was struck with fear.
Got the feeling that it was probably the bones.
I couldn't even think of washing it anymore. Eventually, I had to throw the plants outside.
Yeah.
What were those white pieces I saw? What if they were real bone fragments? It happened when I was in middle school. One day, 2 of my classmates committed suicide together on the roof of an apartment complex.
Okay.
Everyone in the class wondered why they did that and felt sorry for them.
Anyone would probably feel.
And a few days later, we received a group photo from our school trip. The moment we looked closely, we found something unbelievable.
Wait, what?
Some of the students were screaming, and some were crying.
Jesus.
It was insane. When I looked at it, it was really weird. The 2 friends who committed suicide together were standing next to each other, and their eyes were looking upwards the same exact way. It was strange enough to make the viewer feel unpleasant.
Oh no.
Well, eventually our teacher ended up burning the picture. What was up with that picture? I have no clue at all.
Real shopping brands that fit
Nope.
40 new 5 surprise mini brands to collect out now.
think there's one left. Yeah, okay.
This happened a week before my 19th birthday. I had
Okay.
invited 3 of my closest friends over to my place since my parents were out of town for a few days, and my sister had recently moved to the dorm. Well, anyway, 15 minutes later, my friends Keith, Jay, and Marcus showed up at my door.
Okay,
with a handful
seems
of
good.
beer for the perfect
Oh,
boys' night.
beer. Everyone's perfect.
We watched movies, chugged on some drinks, and
perfect
even had an epic pillow fight until
headache.
10:45 p.m.
No, that's not right.
That's when
What's the perfect way to say beer? Is it the coldest? It's like a tasteless thing for me, isn't it? It's like water. It's tasteless, but the alcohol gives a bit of a strongish taste.
Keith suggested that we play an extreme truth or dare game to make this night a blast.
What would make it
Mostly
extreme?
preferred truth, which was hilarious as they were
Yeah.
compelled to answer embarrassing questions. But when it was my turn, I chose to do a dare.
What happened?
They all discussed among themselves for a solid minute until Jay finally dared me to dress up as a girl and walk outside. At first, I hesitated, but accepted it regardless.
Yeah.
I found a blonde wig in the storage box, which was from last year's Halloween, and wore one of my sister's fancy dresses that she saved for special occasions. Then we went outside looking for
I
some
mean, you
fellows
just need to
prank,
take one.
and that's when the sight of a few guys smoking
Oh no. I mean, the dare was to go outside, as it. So means you just need to take one step and step in. They didn't say to talk to a guy and trick them.
on their motorbikes caught my eye. They all looked like they were around in their mid-20s. I walked
Yeah,
past
no,
them
not
while
a good
my friends
side.
hid behind the bushes, waiting for a reaction. Soon, I could tell that they were gazing at me, and when I glanced over to get a peek of them, I realized that they were all coming towards me. As they moved closer, one of them asked if I came here often, and if he could get my phone number. Too bad, I'm a boy, loser. I started laughing frantically as I removed my
Oh
wig.
no, you shouldn't have done that.
However, they didn't seem to like this prank, and I figured that was a huge
Oh, hell
mistake
no.
I had made. Suddenly, he pulled out a pocket knife and said that I was gonna pay for that awful prank. Panicked, I instinctively kicked his left leg, making a run for it, as I heard the others starting their bikes up to chase me. All of my friends who witnessed that moment immediately headed back to the house to call 911. Meanwhile, I was shaking with fear as I further advanced toward the main road. Unfortunately, those punks ganged up on me, blocking my path, and I was thrown to the rough surface by a strong push. The guy I had kicked in the leg earlier got off his bike and pulled out his knife once again, with the creepiest grin I've ever seen on
God.
his face. Do not ever prank on me, you bastard. When he was about to stab me while I was screaming,
Yeah, I would
noticed
probably
that he
do as
abruptly
well.
stopped midway. There was a loud police siren.
Ah,
noise.
perfect.
The volume of the sirens got louder, and finally, they ditched me and ran away. I was laying on the road in pure shock. Luckily, I was rescued by my friends who had informed the police right on time. We never encountered those guys anymore around our town, nor did we ever play that stupid game after that.
Yeah, you
I
shouldn't.
cannot imagine what would have happened to me if the cops were even just a minute later.
Ouch. Yeah, I think that's the end. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.